Pagan, 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 pagan. I smell pagan. Shalom, shalom, mishpacha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. I'm your host, Rabbi Yehuda ben Shomer, and I smell pagan. Many of you may have thought that I was saying bacon, 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 bacon. I smell bacon after the famous dog commercial for Pagan strips, the bacon-flavored dog treat. But I was actually saying pagan. I was actually using that commercial as a spoof. But I did so in order to bring a point. And kind of like Mary Poppins, where she gives a little sugar, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. I'm trying to give the body of believers a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. I know that when a lot of believers come to the Messianic or Netzari faith and they discover that Christmas and Easter and all these things have pagan roots and pagan elements, and they're so excited to celebrate the Levitical 23 feasts of the Lord, and that's wonderful, and they just want to expose and tell their friends, you know, how great the feasts are and how pagan these other things are, and they're turning their friends off without even realizing it, without even knowing it. And then the believer starts getting in this vein where they're just basically preaching to the choir, posting stuff on Facebook. Oh, Christmas is pagan, Easter is pagan, 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 and all of a sudden everything's pagan. And then, you know, you get into arguments on there with Christians and other people who celebrate Christmas and Easter and hold them dear, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is, nobody really gets evangelized. You don't change anybody's mind. You just tick a lot of people off and sound like a broken record. Basically, if focus in and hone in what's positive. Focus in and hone in on what's good. You know what Rav Shaul says, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, whatever is just, think on these things. Don't think about the negative. Forget the pagan. Yeah, you know, Christmas and Easter's pagan. Yeah, I know Christmas and Easter's pagan. Just quit harping on it, okay? There's no need for that, because you're turning people off, and you're really not changing anybody's mind. The thing is, the point that I'm trying to make is that if we focus in on God's Word, focus in on the Torah, focus in on loving people. Notice, Yeshua's ministry, he didn't expose paganism wherever he went. He just preached love and truth from the Torah. That's what he did. And as a result, people came to faith. People came to him. Now, all this pagan stuff, if somebody comes to the true faith and walk in the footsteps of Yeshua, our Messiah, by walking and following the Torah and become a Messianic or Netzari believer, the more they study God's Word, the more they study the Torah, these pagan things are just going to fall off, like molting, like a cocoon, like scales off a snake, or feathers off a bird, and fur off an animal as they're changing their coat. Okay, it's just going to naturally happen. And then, you know, these new believers that come along, maybe they'll say, hey, I noticed that you don't celebrate Christmas. How come? And then there's an open door to talk about it. Or, you know, hey, you know, I heard that we're not supposed to celebrate Easter. Why? What's the deal? And so in an educational, loving way, then you can expose the pagan roots of these things. But just to go out there and just start slamming everything and making everything pagan, that's not helpful. That's not edifying. That's not building up. It's tearing down. It's negative, and it's turning people off. How do I know? Because I did the same thing. I was that overzealous person and turned a lot of people away. And it's been years and years and years, and now I've kind of found that happy medium and that balance. Slowly, these people that I turned off, thank God, he's allowing me to have that opportunity, that second chance to speak to them and minister to them again, and they're starting to warm up. Why? Because I'm preaching the scriptures, I'm focusing on the truth, I'm focusing on love, I'm focusing on what's positive and edifying, and as a result, they're starting to see, hey, yeah, you know, the whole Feast of the Lord makes sense. Oh, yeah, you know, the Torah is making sense to me now. But when they were all seeing this negative, they feel as if they're being pounced upon, as if they're being attacked. And it's not doing anybody any good, and it's not helping anybody. So I hope you take this message in love, and I hope you take it in a humorous way that it was meant to bring across a good and relevant point. We can't turn into a bunch of pagaphobes where we pagan, 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 everything's pagan. You know, just as the example that I've given many times before in my blogs and my videos, when people that are in the banking industry and with money, and they're training people on how to detect counterfeits, they spend years and years studying authentic, real, true, genuine bills. $20 bills, $5 bills, $1 bills, $100 bills, and then they touch them and smell them and feel them and work with them day in and day out for years. And then a couple years down the road, the supervisor will slip in a counterfeit, and as they're counting and as they're dealing with the money, all of a sudden something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't smell right. Something's wrong. And then boom, they're automatically going to be able to pick out the counterfeit bill, the fake bill. So in the same way, when we focus on the truth, we focus on the Torah, we focus on Messiah, and we focus in on that long enough, all of a sudden people are going to start understanding and realizing what's pagan and what's not, and all these pagan stuff is just going to fall and crumble by the wayside. And why are cults so successful? Why is Jehovah's Witnesses so successful? Why is Mormonism so successful? Are they spending their time busily trying to expose the false doctrines in Protestant Christianity or Catholicism or other faiths? No, they're focusing in on their doctrines. That's it. That's all that people learn. And so that's how people get sucked in and get converted. They don't expose falsehoods. They just teach what they teach. They teach their doctrine. They teach their spin on the scriptures, and that's it. They don't worry about all this other peripheral stuff. And I think we could actually take a lesson from Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons in the fact that we just need to focus on the Torah, and we need to focus on Yeshua the Messiah. We need to focus on those two things. Focus on walking in the footsteps of Yeshua our Messiah by walking and following in the Torah. And in the process of doing so, and as we do so, all those sinful pagan falsehoods and false doctrines and elements such as that will automatically be exposed themselves, and the believer will automatically shed themselves of those things so that they can conform themselves more into the image of their Rebbe, Yeshua, and conform more to God's instructions, God's Torah, God's law. It's simple, folks. Let's not strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Okay, let's not major on the minors. Let's keep the main thing, and that is walking in the footsteps of Yeshua our Messiah by walking and following the Torah in love. Thank you so much for watching. Shalom and Shavua Tov.